iterum dico cadete.
So welcome back to Chant, the love song of the church. We saw the development in the Middle Ages and the medieval period in our last segment, and those developments continued particularly with the development of sacred polyphony, which is more or less different lines of music being sung at the same time, which is not the topic for this series. However, in the 16th century, there are some significant happenings which really affected music in the church that we have to examine. Of course, the 16th century was a very exciting period. A lot of new inventions and developments, the discovery of the New World. It was also the birth of the Protestant Reformation, which had a significant influence on church teaching in the Council of Trent. So when Martin Luther and those associated with him broke away, one of the things that they developed was a tradition of metrical hymnody. So Martin Luther was pulling back what he perceived, at least, had been a style of music reserved only to an elite few, in other words, the schola or lector tradition, and wanted to give congregation an opportunity to join in the worship, in the singing. So Martin Luther composed many beautiful texts and melodies which are still in use in Christian worship to this day. It was a departure, however, from the tradition of Gregorian Chant. So with the Council of Trent in 1545, along with many other topics discussed, the question of sacred music was also raised. And the council stated clearly that the number one purpose for sacred music was to enhance and to draw out the meaning of the sacred text. And in this context, it spoke against any forms of music which would downplay or obscure the sacred text, as had become a problem with certain forms of polyphony in which the text was so mishmashed together that you couldn't even really hear it or distinguish the words. But within that critique, of course, Gregorian Chant was again re-emphasized and given preeminence of place as the one unison voice, as the best and most beautiful way to make a text really come fully alive. That's what the council said, and of course we know things that the councils of the church say are not always observed, and in the case after the Council of Trent, we can see chant in some places maintaining its use, in other places it became simplified. In some countries, particularly in Germany, chant was almost completely lost and replaced with the tradition of sung masses, which would be essentially vernacular metrical hymns sung on top of the celebration of the Mass. In some places, music became overly theatrical, influenced by secular styles. In general, we could say that the use of Gregorian chant was very much de-emphasized, and forms of music which were foreign to Catholic worship began to enter the sacred space. And it took a very special pope in the 20th century to call the church back to its original roots of sacred music. That pope will be the topic for our next segment. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to hear future episodes of Chant, the love song of the church.